What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Holley, and we are back for another episode of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Thank you. Episode 82, 83, episode 83. Thank you. You are far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world, but I am so glad that you are here with me. I am Jesse Holley, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel me when I speak. And this episode is taking place from each and every week from the Playmakers and off Highway 121 in the Colony. Come on down here, the Playmakers. That's right. You heard it right. We're in the Playmakers. We're in the office of the Playmaker, Michael Irvin's restaurant here in the Colony. Come on down, man, for the drink specials, good food, good vibes. If you're into vibes, that's where you need to be. The vibes are here. The scenery is great. The food is great. And every now and again, Michael Irvin might pop up. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not, but you need to be here to find out whether he's here or not. But the Playmakers off Highway 121 in the Colony. You guys know what you have to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend. You can catch me on, of course, YouTube. Absolutely. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. Fanatics View, you can follow them there. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Fourth and Long. If you just enter the podcast form, that's fine. We got you covered in that space as well. Head on over to Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcast from. I got you there. I will be there. You got to be there. Like, subscribe, leave comments, 5 stars. I listen to the comments. I hear what y'all saying. I hear what you're saying. All that good stuff. You guys know how I like to get down. I like to give my motivation at the beginning because let's be honest, a lot of you will not be here at the end. I'm just not for everybody, and that's okay. That is absolutely okay. But before you go, make sure you find an episode. Give me at least 15 minutes. 15 minutes before you go. Sit down, take your shoes off, rest for a little bit. If you don't like me after that 15 minutes, find another one, and another one, and listen until you love me. That is the options that you have. All right, man, let's get into this thing. My message comes from Claire Huxtable, Felicia Rashad, right? This is a very, very smart, beautiful woman. And here's the message that I got from Felicia Rashad. And it simply reads, you have to learn how to care about people without taking on all of their problems. You have to learn how to care about people without taking on all of their problems. It's okay to love. It's okay to support. It's okay to be there in times of needs. It's all that is okay. But all their problems aren't your problems. All their issues are not your issues. There's some things that they got to figure out on their own. And what happens is if you continuously pour out of a cup, eventually that cup becomes empty. And if you poured out all of you into and onto someone else's problems, now you're left with a problem. And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, when you empty your cup and you're looking for a refill, those people who you've emptied your cup to are not there to fill you back up. So you can care for people, you can love people, but sometimes you need to love from a distance. Sometimes you need to let them figure out. Sometimes the mess that they got themselves into, that need to go to God and them, not you. Everything is not your problem to solve. You can, like I said, you can care for them, you can love them, but you have to make sure that your cup is full. You have to make sure that your mentals and dentals are good. You got to make sure that you are in the right space and the right frame of mind and that you got your stuff together. And that's not unfair and it's not selfish. Taking care of you is not selfish. It's not. It's called self-care. Self-care means you got to do it. So understand, you can love and you can care and you can be there, but all those problems ain't your problem. And the more and the faster you realize that, the better you are. And honestly, the better they are. Because if you're there for every pressing need, if you're there for every single problem, especially for grown folks. Now, children are different, but for them grown folks, if you're there for everything, do they ever get a chance to figure it out for themselves? So I think it's a great message by Felicia Rashad. You have to learn how to care about people without taking on all their problems. Give them space to figure it out. Give yourself grace and the ability to care for yourself without emptying out your tank. All right, man, let's get into this preview. The Cowboys win a wild football game, 34-26. And as you search for words to describe what this football game was, if you look and search for words to describe what you watched, if you look and you search for words to better give you an understanding of what actually took place on that football field in Maryland versus the Washington Commanders, the only thing that I can come up with that I feel is suitable for this is drunk. Is drunk. Is intoxicated. Is blood alcohol level well past the legal limit. I mean, I've been living for 40 years on God's green earth. I have never witnessed a punt block, a kick blocked, a kick missed, another kick missed, 2 kickoffs back for a touchdown, an 86-yard sideline Hail Mary-ish type play. Like, let me tell you how drunk this game was. At halftime, the score was 3-3. It was a dud. It was a dud of a game. 3-3 the score was at halftime. In the fourth quarter of this football game, with 5 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in the game, the score was 13-9. Now, I told you the game ended 34-26. With 5 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter, the score was 13-9. And all drunken hell broke loose. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It went from like taping your eyelids open and trying to stay awake in this game to pandemonium. Pandemonium. But the Cowboys pulled it out. As crazy, as intoxicated, as drunk as that game was, the Cowboys pulled it out. And before I talk about the bad, I said to myself, you know what? It's been a long time since we've been able to come on this podcast or any other show and have something good to talk about. And I said, I want to give flowers. I want to give flowers to maybe even some people that I've kicked in the nuts the last 5 weeks. I've kicked some folks. The Cowboys haven't won a game in a long time. Can you give me the exact date? I meant to write this down early. Can you give me the exact date the Cowboys last won a game? I think it was Pittsburgh, the Steelers. What was the exact date on the Cowboys-Steelers game, I believe, was the last game that they won? What day was that? October 6th. So we're well over a month. We're well over, hell, we're entering 2-month territory. We were on the cusp of 2 months territory since the Cowboys had won a football game. So I think flowers are due in this particular one. And I'll start here because you guys know how I felt about Michael from Pittsburgh and Michael from Illinois. That's Michael McCarthy and Michael Zimmer. And I've kicked both of those old guys in the nuts the last couple of weeks. I mean, I've like steel-toe boots kicked them in the nuts. But I got to say, in this particular game, Michael from Pittsburgh, I thought he put together a damn good game plan. He understood coming into this game that he was not going to have his starting tight end in Jake Ferguson, who was out with the concussion. He knew that he wasn't going to have his starting right guard, Zach Martin, who was out with two ankle injuries, a shoulder injury. He knew that he wasn't going to have his left guard, Tyler Smith, who was out with some knee or ankle injury. And he was going up against a pretty good defense. And I thought the game plan that he put together was one that that gave this offensive line a chance and that gave his quarterback a chance. They screwed up my timeline about how I was going to get Trey Lance on the field. They screwed that all up. But the ball came out quick. The average time for the passes that Cooper Rush threw was 2.3 seconds. That ball was hiked. He processed it. Ball was gone. And that I wasn't mad at that game plan. That game plan, I think, was the smartest game plan that he could come up with because of what he had as an offensive line. And to their credit, and I'll get to the offensive line, to their credit, they held up. They held up. Michael McCarthy, Michael from Pittsburgh, he ran the ball. He decided we're going with Rico Dowdle, and while Rico still hasn't eclipsed 100-yard rushing, he was in the high 80s, 3 or 4 yards per carry, 4.5 yards a carry, excuse me. That's effective. That is an effective run game. And I think the thing that they did that was most impressive and really helped them out was staying ahead of the sticks. What do you mean, Jesse? Meaning not finding themselves being in 2nd and 10, not finding themselves being in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. They got to the 3rd down situation and they weren't even really good. They were 2 of 11 on 3rd down conversions, but they just stayed ahead of the sticks. They gave themselves an opportunity in that game, and even when it wasn't pretty, it wasn't something to marvel over, because it wasn't. It was ugly. I do appreciate the game plan that Michael from Pittsburgh put together. Michael from Illinois, Mike Zim. Might I say that Mike Zim has been putting together pretty good defense. Pretty good defense. Now, I got on Micah last week for saying that we're a pretty damn good team. And I don't think I believe that. And in fact, I know I don't believe that. Because you can even watch this game and show that they are not a good football team. Like, you had to have some things that have never happened in NFL history happen for you to win that particular game. What I think Micah should have said was, we got a pretty good defense. We're doing some things defensively that are pretty good. You saw Micah be who Micah is, and that's always been my plea to Micah. Just be a good football player. You don't have to be anything else. There's zero requirements for you to be a leader, for you to be the spokesman for the team, for you to be the podcast king. Just go be the best damn football player possible. You saw that again on Sunday against the Commanders. You saw guys like Chauncey Golston play a good game, him being able to move back outside. Might I add, I want to give credit. I'll go back and I'll double watch it again. Mozzie Smith played okay. He had some moments in that game where it was. Now, please do not take me saying that Mozzie Smith played okay as Mozzie Smith being turning the corner. Not saying that. I'm saying that he wasn't awful. I'm saying that he wasn't horrible. I'm saying that he wasn't putrid. That he was actually okay. And doing some things that were like he know how to play football. But I like the looks that Zim was giving Jayden Daniels and that offensive line of the Washington Commanders, moving Micah around everywhere. Micah was at the tackle. Micah was at the end, the left end, the right end, moving him around, setting him up in the A gap, setting him up in the B gap. Like, he was moving Micah around. And anytime you get a chance to move Micah around, what it does for you now is it creates the one-on-ones. And if Micah can get one-on-one with the guard, with the center, that just makes him such a valuable asset. because you're not lining them up in one place. You're not keeping them stagnant. You're moving them around. You're creating the proper matchups that you need. And I think that defense, they played some pretty good football. Deron Bland was back in the mix. Looked like he picked off where he left off at. Great story that we'll get into. Josh Butler was out there playing a little bit. Even Donovan Wilson, he came alive and created a fumble. Now, we won't get on those guys on what they did on that Terry McLaurin touchdown. But he was able to create a turnover for the Cowboys. So I got to give some credit to the Michaels. They put together a really good offensive and defensive scheme that allowed them to get the victory that they needed. Like the Cowboys needed. When you go on a 5-game losing streak, life gets tough. Work gets extra hard. You're a little bit snappy. Those injuries hurt a little bit more. And so for them to get this team off the losing schneid and back into the mix, job well done. Cavante Turpin, the smallest guy on the field. I'm going to say this about Cavante. Ever since, and if you go back and listen to some of my earlier podcasts, I've said this, I've tweeted this, I mean this. If you're a professional athlete, an actor or actress, a rapper or singer, anybody who has money, and you're grill bad, boy, I clown you. Cavante went and got his teeth fixed and his eyes fixed, and boy, he been acting totally different. In a good way. And you saw Cavante Turpin. I mean, that is in the conversation of play of the year. Yes, the backwards jump hurdle from Saquon is in that conversation, but so is the Cavante Turpin muffed kickoff return. It goes through his arms, goes through his legs, and he picks it up at the 1-yard line and turns that into a act like I'm going right, hit the B button, spin move, come back left, 99-yard kickoff return back for a touchdown. Like that, those are plays that go down in history, in a rivalry history, in a player's history. What a big play. And that's the second big play that Cavante Turpin has made in the same amount of weeks. He had the big slant last week, and he came back and he made a huge play for the Cowboys. So got to give Cavante Turpin some love on that. Talking about the O-line love. The O-line has been a issue, a problem for the Cowboys all year long. My God, Tyler Guyton, please, son, go sit down. I don't mean to be so mean to you. I know that you're young and you're trying to learn, but go sit down. Please, go sit down. Go have a seat over there in the corner and chill out. But you're probably going to have to play him because Austin Richards is hurt. So Austin Richards is hurt, so you're probably going to have to keep out there with Tyler Guyton. But, boy, Tyler Guyton. I'm giving flowers. I'm not talking about that. I'm giving flowers. The offensive line has been an issue, but I got to admit, they held up. Listen to this. Between T.J. Bass and Brock Hoffman, those are the two guards that you inserted for the absence of Tyler Smith and Zach Martin. T.J. Bass, Brock Hoffman, who, by the way, Brock Hoffman, Brock Hoffman, you're a little spicy. I like it. I like it. You need offensive line. You need a little spicy. You need a dude. You need a dude who toes the line of doing something that may get you penalized, doing something that we may look at as a society as maybe wrong, but okay in the trenches. I need a guy that's going to grab some nuts in the bottom of the pile and twist them. I'm just saying, I need a guy who's looking for a fight. I think there's to be in the trenches offensively and defensively, to be on one of those lines and you nice, I don't think that works well. That don't work well in the trenches. Brock Hoffman's one of those dudes I want in a bar fight with. I want on my side in a bar fight. I don't want to get in a bar fight with Brock Hoffman because he's going to be the type of white dude that hits you. You punch him square in the face and he's like, come on. Any dude that does that when you punch him in the face, run immediately. Brock Hoffman's the guy that does that. So he definitely a spicy dude, and I like that on my offensive line. But check this out. TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman, 0 pressures all game. 0 pressures all game. It gets better. 0 quarterback hits all game. They gave Cooper Rush a sack, but they didn't accredit it to anybody. It was the one we kind of like took the snap, ran back a little bit, and gave himself up. So they didn't credit that sack to anybody. It gets better. That offensive line, those 2 guys in the offensive line, Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, 0 quarterback pressures. I'm sorry, 0 quarterback hurries. So 0 pressures, 0 quarterback hits, 0 quarterback hurries. These are the guys that are your backups. And granted, this goes in conjunction to the game plan that Michael from Pittsburgh put out there to get the ball out quick, to run the football. And TJ Bass, he graded out the highest for pass blockers, 82.7%. So shout out to those guys. Because a lot of times you wait, and then you get your chance. You don't know when it's going to come. You don't know how it's going to come. But eventually, sometimes it pops up for you, and you have to be able to take advantage of it. And then last but not least, Josh Butler. Josh freaking Butler. Now, again, I know I'm giving flowers. I know some of you might put in the comments, well, Josh Butler was a part of that 86-yard touchdown. But I know. I get it. But think about this for Josh Butler. Let me read off Josh Butler's little story. And I don't want to call it little story, big story. I think that's a big thing for Josh Butler. Well, let me get it up here. I thought I had it up here, but that's all right. We all good. It's in the moments when you need it. Now my phone's talking about it want to update. I don't want to update, bro. Just get me to where I need to get to. So looking at Josh Butler's journey, and some of you, if you're Cowboy fans, of course, you know who Josh Butler is right now. But if you think back, Josh Butler graduated from Michigan State in 2019. If you remember, on senior day, and Josh Butler's a local kid. He's from McKinney, Texas, the local kid here. Josh Butler brought out his 2 dogs to walk him out on senior day because while he was at Michigan State, he didn't lose one parent. He lost them both. So he didn't have parents to walk him out on senior day. So he had 2 dogs that he walked out with on senior day. After that, he went and he began an acting career. And he made acting appearances on a TV series called All American. And that's where he got a huge TikTok and Instagram following because he was doing TikToks and posting stuff like that. Then from there, 2022, he released his first musical album called The Motive. 2023, he signed with the Michigan Panthers of the USFL. 2020, after the end of that season in 2023, he signed on with the Cowboys practice squad and played in preseason games. And then this year, he was elevated to the active roster last Monday. In his career, he had in his second career start today, which was yesterday, he had 12 total tackles, 3 pass breakups, and a sack. Talk about never, ever, ever giving up. One of my coworkers, Joe Hoyt, over at DLLS, he wrote a story on Josh Butler, and I got to pull his quote up. All these quotes I had ready to go, and now they're not accessible. It's all good. We're gonna find it. Y'all gonna have to wait for me anyway, so it don't really matter whether y'all want to or not. But Joe Hoyt talked about where we at here. Joe Hoyt talked about in this article that every day that he would look at his vision board, And on his vision board, it was sign an NFL contract. And so I just love it. I love a great story. I mean, if you know me, you know my story. It's the story of perseverance. It's a story of never giving up. It's a story of against all odds. And when you think about a guy like Josh Butler and all the things that he's went through, he never gave up hope. And to go out now, I know what you're saying. I don't want my DB to go out there and have to make 12 tackles. But this is what happens when they look to one side of the field and they see Deron Bland and they go, oh, yeah, Deron Bland. This is the guy who had all those interceptions and back for touchdowns. So we're probably not going to pick on him. Then they're going to look over and say, oh, this is the guy, Josh Butler. He ran a 4.7 second 40 at the combine. That's not a pretty fast guy. It's not even the guy we really had on our scouting report. So we're going to throw the ball over here. So by happenstance, you got to make all these tackles now because they're throwing the ball at you. But, boy, talk about a great story. Talk about a great freaking story. And, I hope that he gets more and more opportunities. I don't know what the status of Trayvon Diggs will be this week. But I think for one day, he was king. For one day, you get a chance to be king. And I thought he played very, very big, very strong, very admirable in that game. So a ton of flowers to go around. Again, still got guys like Demarion Overshown played really well. CD did his thing. Luke Schoonmaker, he made some plays. It was an unusual group of guys out there playing ball, and they just fought. They fought to tooth and nail. And in the end, they were rewarded by a victory. And that's important. And I know a lot of you, I get it. Y'all on my timeline and all that. And y'all Captain Tank and Team Tank. And y'all want the draft picks. And like, what are you doing? What are you losing for? Because we want to get a higher draft pick. It's because of guys like Josh Butler. Because you do not know when I'll ever get a chance to play in this league again. You do not know when I'll ever get a chance to start again. I do not know when the next time they will give me a chance to live out my childhood dream. And so at the end of it all, I want to win. I'm not, and Michael was quote talking about something. If the front office is worried about draft picks and all that kind of stuff, I hope we messed it up. Because as a player, and I get the fans' perspective, but I want you to understand as a player, they sacrificed a lot. The blood, the sweat, the tears, the time away from their families. And all I want at the end of the day is a dub. By hook or by crook, however I can get it. Because I don't know the next time. If the next time will be my last time. And that goes for CDE and Micah and all those other guys. You don't know when the next time is going to be. A guy like Josh Butler, I can tell you, is looking over his active roster shoulder every single week. You know why? Because here's what happens. Next week, if Trayvon Diggs comes back, guess who might lose their jersey? You guessed it, Josh Butler. Now, maybe he goes back to the practice squad. Maybe not. But I'm also looking over my shoulder because, yeah, Trayvon might come back, but now we may have injuries somewhere else. And the numbers game say, oh, well, we're not taking your jersey away because of Trayvon, but a linebacker, we showed over here at linebacker. We need more offensive linemen. We need this, we need that. And now they start taking jerseys away and you get cut because nothing that you did wrong, but it's a numbers game. I lived that life. So at the end of the day, for this moment, if Josh Butler doesn't play another down, he went out a winner. He went out with the opportunity to say, boy, did we go out there and beat a division rival. That's why. And I'm not taking anything away from the Team Tank guys, for the people who are worried about draft status and people saying, well, I'm trying to help your team for the future. Guys like Josh Butler may not be here in the future. It's just the reality of it all. You go out there and think, I'm going to make it through this game, and next thing you know, and this is, I'm bringing up Dak, but your legs pointing this way, your ankles pointing that way. Season's done. Who to say that you recover from that? And so, I get it. I'm just never going to subscribe to the fact of tanking or purposefully missing games or any of that. I'm just not. And it's for guys like Josh Butler. Incredible story. I hope he gets a chance to ride this thing out and he's able to make himself a beautiful career in this league because, I mean, it's a great story and he seems to be a good player. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be your starting cornerback, but if he can carve himself out a role in this league, whether it's special teams, being a third or fourth corner, more power to him. And for a guy who's lost both parents and had a journey like that, sometimes you want good things to happen to good people. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it for that preview. Quickly, I'll preview the because we're on a short week, right? We're on a short week. We got to get right to this Thanksgiving game. The Cowboys taking on the New York Football Giants, and the battle of the backups is. I got to be honest with you because we family, and I don't want to BS y'all. I don't know how this game's going to go. I don't. I don't know how this is gonna fully transpire. When you're dealing with two backup quarterbacks, it might be another drunk game. It might be another drunk game. It might be one of these games where you're like, what the hell is going on? This game is so unpredictable. And I will say this is the type of game where both coaches, Brian Daboll, fighting for his life. He is fighting for his coaching life. Mike McCarthy, fighting for his coaching life. And all their assistants, fighting for their ever-living coaching life. All bets are off. Anything goes. Fake punts, reverse passes. You can't surprise onside kick anymore. But any and everything goes. It's Thanksgiving Day. It's prime, I guess semi-prime time, right? It's Thanksgiving Day, only a few games on. That's prime time, right? The food coming out. The food gonna be on the table by the time the game start. I don't know. I do not know. I know Tommy DeVito may have a little bit of an injury. Don't know if he's gonna play. I hope Tommy DeVito plays. I hope so. I hope Gabagool. I hope Tommy DeVito plays because the alternate is Drew Lock. And if Drew Lock plays, he might be the best quarterback on the field. Drew Lock might be, because remember, Drew Lock was actually the backup. The New York Football Giants went into complete team tank mode organizationally and said, yeah, Drew, I know that you're the backup, but now that we've released Danny Dimes and our focus now is on another quarterback for the 2025 season, we're going to go with Gabagool. We're going to go with Tommy Cutlets. We're going to go with the Italian Stallion. And so if Drew Lock gets out there, any white dude who could sit on the sideline on the rhythm and rap Jeezy word for word, the dude you don't want to trifle with. There's a dude, and now he's like, he has that YOLO mentality because he feel like he got screwed over by the Giants. You don't want him on your football field if you have to face him, because now he's out to prove a point. He's out to go out there and go like, oh, you bleepity bleep bleeps didn't want to play me, huh? Cool. I'm about to go out here and YOLO this thing. And I'm going to be honest with you. If he's YOLOing that thing, he's spamming, and he's force feeding it to Malik Nabers, not a bad. Like I don't want Malik Nabers to have 17 targets. I don't. Malik Nabers getting 17 targets is a situation that you might not enjoy. Now, if you're part of Team Tank for the Cowboys, then you're like, yes, but I'm not Team Tank. And I know Malik Nabers is a dog. A dog. So, but it's going to be an interesting game. You know, they got guys up front defensively for the Giants. Sexy Dexy. I love me some Dexter Lawrence, man. I love me some Dexter Lawrence. Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans. Chris Jones from the Chiefs, Sexy Dexy from the Giants. I mean, guys like that just gives you, give me one of the Payne boys from Washington. Boy, just a football playing dude. Takes on double teams. I think he got like 8-9 sacks. Like, he's just a football playing dude, man. That dude is a monster. You got Kayvon Thibodeau, and again, when you don't have your starting quarterback, anything goes. I don't know. I don't know if Michael from Pittsburgh is going to put together another great game plan, or he going to glitch. Because Michael's been known to put together a really good game plan, and then all of a sudden, you like, dog, bring that bag. The bag that you was in a week ago, bring that bag. And Michael from Pittsburgh be like, nah, I'm bringing this bag. And it'd be a trash bag. It'd be a boo-boo bag. It'd be one of the little scented rolls that I have a dog. If you're a true dog walker and you ain't leaving poop in people's yard, and you get that little roll that's scented, it smell good, but it's a poop bag. Like, might get into that bag. So I honestly can't, and I'm also be double honest with y'all. I ain't watched a lick of film on either one of these. Like, I see the Cowboys, but I ain't watched the Giants since the last time we played the Giants. So I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be another wild game. The Cowboys are 3.5 favorites at home. Now, for the Cowboys, you're riding high. You're feeling good. You got a dub. There was a lot of ugly things the Cowboys did offensively, defensively, and God, special teams. Like, don't think because you had a kickoff return back for a touchdown that was great, or Wanye's kickoff return back for a touchdown. You had a field goal blocked. You had a field goal missed. You had a punt blocked. Like, there was some ugly things happening. Like, it was some ugly football being played. Cowboys are 0-5 at home. 0-5 at home. 4-2 on the road. 0-5 at the crib. So, who knows? Right, the Cowboys can be feeling good and riding high right now, but that I'm not into scary movies, but I've seen enough previews of them. You know how you like somebody be feeling good, or they be in the shower washing up, singing like that, and right on the other side of the shower is like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers ready to stab them. Like, the Cowboys are riding high, like, oh, we got a game, we won a game, and now we might get two. That 0-5. At home record, Jason Voorhees is standing right there to him like, I got a knife. And if you come in here playing around, 0-5 at home. That's inexcusable to be that bad at home. And so, again, when you're playing with all these backup players, look at this. Check this number out. This number came from Todd Archer. Last week, the Cowboys had more than $100 million worth of players who didn't play. Dak Prescott didn't play. $44.6 million toward the salary cap. Tank Lawrence didn't play. $20.4 million against the salary cap. Zach Martin didn't play. 15.5. Trayvon Diggs didn't play. 15.3. Brandon Cooks didn't play. $10 million, over $100 million worth of players did not play for the Dallas Cowboys. And guess what? Dak, he not playing on Thursday. Tank Lawrence, he ain't playing on Thursday. Zach Martin, he ain't playing on Thursday. Trayvon Diggs, I don't know. Brandon Cooks, I don't know. But three of the five guys are not playing. And Jake Ferguson. So, a lot of money. A lot of money that didn't play in that game. Cowboys took out the victory. So, I don't know what to expect. And it's going to be interesting, to say the least. I'll say just enjoy the ride. get your Thanksgiving food, and enjoy the ride. It's going to be a magical one. It's going to be an interesting one, and I do not know the outcome of that game. But I am going to make a prediction because I have to. It's early. I am going to say that the Cowboys narrowly pull it out. They go to a 2-game winning streak. They get the victory at home. I'm believing in the Cowboys to beat. Now, here's my one little caveat. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Because this is going to lead into my next story I want to talk about around the NFL. If Drew Lock plays, I'm just telling y'all, if Drew Lock plays, listen, a man who has nothing to lose is a dangerous man. My grandmother used to always tell me, understand the purpose of the person you're fighting. Understand because if you're trying to fight a dude who just want to fight for sport, you might win. But if you fighting a dude who is fighting for his life, you're dead. Because it's life or death for him. And if they give the reins to Drew Lock gonna let that thing. He gonna let that thing. He gonna have a switch on it. It's gonna be automatic. And he might be throwing it to Malik Nabers, and that could be problematic. Yeah. So Cowboys slightly over the Giants, 17-10. 17-10. If Drew Lock plays, all bets are off. So I'm just letting y'all know. If Drew Lock is a quarterback, all bets are off. But 17-10, I have that one. And the reason why I feel that way goes into where I want to go next. We go around sports, and I go right into this. Here's why I'm afraid also. The young rookie superstar of the New York Giants uniform, Malik Nabers, went off. He went off. And he didn't say a name. Well, yes, he did. He did say a name. They asked him about his action in the game, and Malik Nabers just straight up said, "Listen, man, you got to go ask Dabes," meaning Brian Daboll, because he didn't get the ball in a 30-0 game. He didn't get the ball until the third quarter, and they're asking him what happened. He's like, "I don't know. Go ask Dabes. Go ask them. Go ask the coaches." And he's like, "It ain't the quarterback." Because the same thing was happening with Daniel Jones. So, go ask them. And so something about those LSU wide receivers. They are dogs, but there's other D word they are. They're dogs. They're dogs. They're divas too. They are divas. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Wide receiver. They are dogs. They are dogs. They divas. Boy, they got some diva running through them. It must be in that New Orleans water, baby. It got to be in that New Orleans water, baby, because the diva run through them jokers. But that's why I'm afraid. Because normally, hey, listen, we got a diva here in Dallas. CeeDee Lamb, he a diva. And you know what happened when diva receivers complain to the media about their touches? Do you know what happens? Do you know what happens the next game? Huh? They get the ball. A lot. Coaches make sure of it. Quarterbacks make sure of it. Play callers make sure of it. That's why I'm a little bit afraid. If you give me a man who has nothing to lose in Drew Lock, and a man who wants the damn ball in Malik Nabers, who's called out coaches, who's called out front office, who has made it known that I want the damn ball, and you put them together. And you know how people want to embarrass the Cowboys. It stresses me out. Stresses me out. And Malik Nabers is the type of player can wreck a game. He can easily go 10 for 225, 3 touchdowns. Easy. Just like one of the other LSU wide receivers, like Jamar Chase, like Justin Jefferson, like Odell in his prime. But boy, what a dysfunctional Dallas. You could be the Giants, and what an absolute dysfunctional front office. We are getting a chance to watch live the absolute dysfunction. You see the young star complain, but boy, what a bad front office. Not only did they just release their quarterback that they just paid a year or so ago, but we got a chance to watch it in real time, kinda, in Hard Knocks, of them having to make a decision on either they're going to keep Daniel Jones or keep Saquon Barkley, and they picked Barkley. They picked Daniel Jones. And Gettleman said, oh, was it Gettleman or was it Schoen, whatever he said, boy, I won't be able to sleep at night if he goes to Philadelphia. And not only did he go to Philadelphia is leading your division. Philadelphia is leading your division. Saquon's having a MVP type year. So you didn't keep Saquon. He's gone. And you picked the quarterback, and he's gone. And now you have to deal with this dysfunction. Like, people are pointing at you and laughing. Ha ha. Like, that's what they're doing to the Giants fans. You, Giants fans, all of you, we're pointing and laughing. I know you probably pointed back. Like, look at your GM. That's fine. But y'all are worse. I guess it's the battle of who's the taller short person. We are right now. The Cowboys are. What an absolute awful front office. You lost, and then you got nothing in return. You didn't get anything for Saquon. You didn't get anything for Daniel Jones. And what's going to be really wild? Here's what's going to be really wild, New York Giants fans. Damn, New York in general is all jacked up. The Jets are jacked up. The Giants are jacked up. Just Buffalo's okay. But boy, you guys, here's the crazy thing. Because I do think Daniel Jones, when you talk about just like intangibles, like can he throw the football? Yes. Can he run the football? Yes. Like that part, like he has the ability to. You guys are going to be sick. You're going to be sick if he ends up in a place like the Rams, the Niners, somewhere where there's an offensive coordinator and a quarterback coach or a head coach that can just fine-tune some things for him, and he actually becomes a player. Because, like, again, I see what happened to Jared Goff in the right system. I see what happened to Sam Darnold in the right system. I see what happened to Geno Smith in the right system. Like, you see what has happened to players who have been put in the position to succeed. I think when you get out of that dysfunction and maybe you get into some teaching that may be better than what you were getting, and you still have the good skill set that and your play caller and or coach plays to your strengths and simplifies this game for you. I mean, look at what Brock Purdy. Like, if I had to just go talent-wise, if I had to close my eyes and you just told me that he was this tall, he ran this, he throws this, and I didn't know who name was who, he has better arm talent than Brock Purdy. Not even close. Not even close. He has more athleticism. Daniel Jones has more athleticism than Brock Purdy, and it's not even close. Now, what happens in between the ears, I can't judge that. But what I can see from just the sheer talent, like ability, there's nothing that Brock Purdy does physically that's better than Daniel Jones. Doesn't have a stronger arm, doesn't have a more accurate arm, isn't taller, isn't faster, any of that. So y'all going to be sick as Giants fans if he gets somewhere and right now he can choose. He can choose. Y'all going to be sick. You already sick because you got to watch the TV and watch Saquon Barkley run all over the league. Good luck, New York Giants fans. That takes me into my very next thing. Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley is not in your MVP conversation, you might want to stop talking. Yes, Lamar Jackson, absolutely. Yes, Josh Allen, absolutely. I thought Jared Goff fell off when he had that 5-interception game against the Texans. They still won, but he had 5. You lost me with that one. Huh? He's 4th right now. Yeah, you were in the race. You were like 2. You were 2. By the way, shout out to the fighting Man Campbells. Shout out to the Detroit Lions. Consecutive 10-win seasons for the first time in franchise history. The blueprint of how to build a team is being done in Detroit. So for all the front office people and all the people hiring coaches and GMs, go watch the blueprint that is done in Detroit. Allow your team to get a culture being built. Get out of the damn way if you're an owner. Get the right GM who's going to get the right coach and that's going to build the proper culture. And don't fire them after 1 or 2 years. Allow them to establish the culture, build the culture, get guys in here. Give them a little bit of time. The reward for that may be what you're seeing right now in Detroit. But back to Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, if he's not in your MVP conversation, then you probably should stop talking. And he did it again. Sunday Night Football, the only game on football. Philadelphia versus the LA Rams, and Saquon Barkley went off. 255 yards rushing, career 5 for him, career high in the franchise. Philadelphia, he took out Shady. Shady McCoy had that record before. Over 300 yards total offense, scrimmage offense, and he is on pace. He is on pace right now to break the all-time NFL single-season rushing by Eric Dickerson. I know what you guys are going to say. I know what you guys are going to say. Now, here's my argument. You ready, Tay? Because I know you were going to say that. Here's my argument. Okay? When Eric Dickerson broke the record, who did he break the record of? Nope. O.J. Simpson, who did it in 14 games. But we never put an asterisk on Eric Dickerson's. They never put an asterisk on that. O.J. did it in 14. O.J. had the record in 14 games. See, we can't pick and choose what we want to do, how we want to do this thing. O.J. did it in 14 games. And so Eric Dickerson, when he broke the single-season rushing record, he did it in 16 games. So we can't be picking and choosing when we want to put this thing on the asterisks on there. So let's just.
I think it's because 16 became.
I don't care what it became. I don't care if 16 became the norm. If OJ did it in 14, and Eric did it in 16, how we don't put no asterisk on that? And now that just becomes the norm. That's fair, right? Fair is fair. Saquon right now was on pace to beat the all-time single-season rushing record 40 years ago. 1984 is when Eric Dickerson broke it. 2,104 yards is the total, right? Saquon right now is on pace for 2,151 yards. Saquon is the 12th player in NFL history to have 300-plus yards from scrimmage. Like, I think sometimes we say things and then we just gloss over it. He is one of 12 players in the history of the NFL. The history. This thing dates back to, I don't know, World War I, right? Like 100 years of football. 100-plus years of NFL football. 12. He's one of 12 human beings that have played this game that has gotten over 300 plus yards from scrimmage. That's insane to me. Like, that is insane to me. If he is not in your conversation as MVP, and I know it's always going to the quarterback, but the Philadelphia Eagles are legitimately a Super Bowl contender, at least a deep playoff contender, because of Saquon Barkley. He's changed the dynamics of that football team, which also brings me to the thing was, what the hell, Kellen Moore, were you trying to prove when you came to Dallas? What the hell were you trying to show Jerry? Were you trying to audition to Jerry that your passing game works and all that kind of stuff? Because for the Cowboys to be the worst rushing defense in the league and Saquon only had 66 yards rushing because you only gave him the ball like 11 times is beyond me. I don't know what the hell you were trying to prove. I mean, you guys narrowly got the victory, but Saquon's averaging he's like averaging 185 yards a game or 160 something yards a game. And you thought passing the ball was going to be the thing to do in that. But anyway, just neither here nor there, Kellen Moore. But Saquon, man, it's impressive. It's impressive to watch him. Only that took him out the game last night. He got punched in the nuts. He got hit in the wee-wee. That'll take any man down. That'll take any man down. You punch me in the wee-wee, I'm tapping my helmet. Hey, come get me. I'm tapping my helmet. But Saquon has put together, and good for him. Good for Saquon for having a chance. And this is, he's playing behind maybe the one or two best offensive line in the league. Detroit is 1, Eagles is 2, or Detroit is 2, and the Eagles are 1. They're 1A, 1B, however you want to have it. 2 of the best offensive line, and you see what that's happening, right? You see how those 3 running backs really, Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery, and Saquon, how they're running behind those lines. But that's carrying those teams. And when you get into December football, you need a Saquon. You need a Saquon. You need to control the clock. You need to run the ball. You need to be balanced. And Saquon is having an MVP type year. And if they decide to get voters fatigue for Lamar Jackson, because if we're being honest, voter fatigue happens. Ask Joker. Ask Nikola Jokic. Did they get voter fatigue? Lamar Jackson, statistically, is having a better year this year than he had last year when he won the MVP. So I'm just saying, and I know how things change and whatever. But Saquon Barkley needs to be in that conversation. Of course, with Josh Allen, what he's doing up in Buffalo right now. It's a regular season award. I'm not talking about what they do in the playoffs. It's a regular season award. But all 3 of these players have their teams poised to be a deep playoff run / Super Bowl contending team. But Saquon is a man of the hour. He went off last night in every which way but wrong. And so shout out to Saquon Barkley and his MVP race. All right, let's move to college football. This is like the next 3 is all college football. Gotta give love. Now, we all know where my heart lies. Will always lie. Always. I am an ACC representative. I am a University of North Carolina representative. Always have. Not always have. Since 2003 and beyond. For life. But it started in 2003. I'm about Tar Heel life. I am a North Carolina Tar Heel through and through. I bleed Tar Heel blue. But I gotta give some ACC love to the SMU Ponies, the Mustangs. Pony up. Pony up. For the first time in ACC history, a team goes to the conference championship first year in the league. I'm going to be honest with you. When the ACC did this expansion and they brought in Cal, they brought in Stanford, and they brought in SMU, I legitimately thought, and I think the conference thought the same thing too, Because even the way that they treat the SMU, SMU got to take the travel. SMU everywhere. They don't really get none of the good home games. They got to travel all across the country. I thought SMU would be the doormats initially of the ACC. Football is fluid, things change, all that kind of stuff. But what Rhett Lashlee has done at SMU is to be commended, is to be celebrated, is to be cheered. SMU in the first year of the ACC headed to the ACC championship game to face Miami for the first time, again, in 40 years. This might have been around the same time they had just, no, well, yeah. No. That's a different time frame. Anyway, but to think about SMU coming back from death penalty, right, and that football program, talk about Eric Dickerson, right, 40 years ago he did the rookie, and like they came back for SMU to be where they're at right now, for the first time they're being in 40 years that they've been in the top 10, AP top 10 voting, is commendable, is definitely to be celebrated. I did not think they were going to do this. Did not think it was going to happen. I thought that they were going to have to wait a couple years before they finally got it. But that tells you all about how we are in this new NIL era. Because also SMU is one of those teams. They got that cheddar. They got an alumni base. They got money. They got money. If you ever seen their campus and what part of town their campus is in, so they paying to play, but also it's being able to, yes, hit the transfer portal. But if you know anything about high school football, like if you are into high school football, like concentrated in the DFW, especially in the southern sector. Shout out to South Dallas. Okay? South of the tollway. South of, was it the Trinity or whatever it is? North, whatever it is, damn near by the Trinity. Shout out to South. It's so much talent down there. Duncanville. What you about to say?
Well, they're starting quarterbacks
That's what I'm saying. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm Duncanville, Skyline, DeSoto, South Oak Cliff, Cedar Hill, North Crowley. I mean, you talk about some of the powerhouses that you're seeing at some of these big time universities. South Dallas, in a concentrated area of 20 square miles. And SMU has been able to go into those areas and pull some players out of there. They're not going to TCU. They're not going to Texas. They're not going to Tech. They're not going to Oklahoma. Some of them are, don't get me wrong. But being able to reach right back into your backyard, the number one line of recruiting, win your state. Now, you're going up against Texas, right? Like, it's tough. It's tough. It's just, you don't have the facilities. Financially, you don't have it to compete with Texas. You just don't. Sorry, those kids are driving Lambos. You know what I'm saying? Like, their NIL bags are a little bit different. But don't get me wrong, SMU got some money. But I could just pull players from this rich talent base, this rich talent pool right here in the south of Dallas. And SMU, man, they have done a great job, man. Shout out to Rhett Lashlee, who just got an extension. Smart on them. Pay them, because if you don't, someone else will. There's a bunch of jobs opened up down there and some other places. So shout out to SMU, man. Headed to the ACC conference title game against Miami. And make no mistake about it, Miami's not invincible. You come with the right game plan, I wouldn't be shocked if SMU beat Miami. Not one bit. Michael Irvin might be. And you know what's funny? Because there's been sightings And Ted, you go to some of these SMU games, there's been some Troy Aikman sightings on the sideline for SMU. How funny would that be? On one sideline, you got Troy Aikman. Well, Eric Dickerson, he's alumni, right? But Troy's not an alumni. Troy went to Oklahoma and UCLA. Eric Dickerson is royalty, right? Like we talking about T-Bird, Eric Dickerson, right? He's royalty. So, that's but think about this. Think about the ACC championship game. Troy Aikman on one sideline, Michael Irvin on the other. That's funny. That's funny. One of them will be hype. One of them will be Cool Comments Collective. I think we all know who those people will be. I think we all know who those people will be. But shout out to SMU. Speaking of money, well, if you want to go see the battle for the second spot in the SEC championship game, I hope you got your I don't know if you got tax money just yet. If you got Christmas money saved up, you're going to spend it all. Right now, the ticket cost for the Texas A&M game at Kyle Field in Aggieland in College Station, the get in the door price, $600. $600. Let me put that in perspective for you. The get-in price for the Cowboys versus the Giants on Thanksgiving Day, $28. The get-in-the-door price for Texas A&M in College Station, $600. Now, if you want to get good seats, lower bowl seats, close to the action, maybe even storm the field, do y'all storm the field? Y'all probably storm the field. Tickets priced are at $1,000. Bands will make her dance. And that just tells you all you need to know where we're at. One, it tells you about the state of Texas football. Like, it's real. And you have you have the two premier state of Texas program. I didn't even mention the Texas A&M in the other conversation. Sometimes they get forgotten about sometimes. My bad, Tay. I know that's your squad. But that just tells you the level of, one, SEC play. That tells you about that. And then two, that battle. Texas A&M, it's a battle of Texas. It's the bragging rights of the big dogs of Texas. And it gives you the right to go to the SEC championship game. Now, Tay thinks no matter who goes on the other side of the bracket, they're going to lose to Georgia. Maybe. I don't think Georgia is as powerful as they once were right now. Like, now is the time you need to get them. Get them now, because they're going to be in that portal next year looking for a quarterback. They get a quarterback, they're going to have the guy. They're going to have the dogs, literally and figuratively. But $1,000 for lower bowl, $600 to get in the door. You can buy a section at the Cowboy game on Thanksgiving for what it would cost to get in the door, or a lower level seat at the Texas A&M game. I'll end with this one. This one near and dear to my heart. I told you guys I am a Tar Heel through and through. I love my university, and I love the players that come from my university. And if you know anything about UNC football, the wide receivers, we're called freaks. 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 And it simply stands for, now, the K, we changed the meaning of the K, but it stands for fresh receivers exciting all crowds, crowd with the K, smoothly. That's what freaks mean. And so when you see a UNC wide receiver, you just simply go, what up, freak? What up, freak? And that's how we talk to each other. That's how we address each other. If you played wide receiver at the University of North Carolina, you are known as a freak. Now, some of them may have taken that literally. I'm not saying that I'm a freak. I'm just saying that's what they call me as a receiver from North Carolina. And one of my young freaks, and not only does this touch my heart because he was a freak. He was a 2-time All-American at the University of North Carolina. But I trained him. I trained him coming out of college, heading into the league, where he was drafted in the 4th round, 5th round by the Dallas Cowboys. Played a couple years in the league, got injuries, caught the best of him, so he wasn't able to live out, this full NFL dream, the long, prosperous career, but he did it. And then he went on to coach in the college ranks, and he was a wide receiver coach at Tulsa. Ryan Switzer, who was my young freak. Ryan Switzer was the recruiting coordinator, and the wide receiver coach at the University of Tulsa. And Tulsa recently just fired their head coach, Kevin Wilson. His second year head coach at Tulsa has been fired. And they named my boy, Ryan Switzer, the interim head coach. Now, they only got one game left, but that's okay. The fact of the matter is that whoever, whether it was the AD, whether it was recommended by the head coach, they saw him fit enough. Now think about all the coaches. There's a running back coach, there's a tight ends coach, there's an offensive line coach, there's a defensive line coach, there's an offensive coordinator, there's a defensive coordinator, there's a linebackers coach. I mean, all the coaches on this staff, they saw Ryan Switzer fit to step into that interim head coaching role for the last game of the season. That to me says and speaks volumes about Switzer. And from my time knowing him, training with him, working with him, he is a dude of great detail. He's a dude of great detail. He's a dude of great integrity, of great intensity. He is a player's coach. So to see him get rewarded with this opportunity to go out and be the interim head coach. Now, do I know how this will end? Will they give him the head coaching job? I don't know, but it's pretty damn cool. It's pretty damn cool. And despite the circumstances, because I'm sure he didn't want his head coach to be fired. I'm sure of that. But it's pretty damn cool to know that of everybody that had the option to give this job to, they picked Ryan Switzer. And so to that, I say, congrats, Switz. Go out there and win the damn game. Go win the damn game. Make it difficult for them not to give you a realistic look at being the head coach of the future. I know that you can recruit. I know that you're attention to detail. I know that you're intense. I know that you're a player's coach. I know that you can teach the game of football to these young men. I know that you can teach them the game of life. I know that you can teach them about being a good man. I know that. I know that about you. Now leave it all out there and go win the damn game. They're playing FAU, who just fired their coach, Tom Herman. So hey, jobs all of. If you're looking for a head coaching job, go to the AAC, not the ACC. Go to the AAC. They got 6 jobs open: Charlotte, Rice, Tulsa, FAU, Temple, and I think that's it.
So it looks like he becomes the youngest D1 coach as well in all college football.
Let's go. Let's go. The youngest D. Let's go. If only for one night. Remember on Little Giants, he was like, just one time. All you got to do is go out there one time. Give my boy Ryan Switzer an opportunity to go and prove himself. Win the damn game, Switch, man. Switz, I'm happy to know you. I texted with him the other day. Happy to know you, brother. Happy to call you friend. And go out there and show the world that you deserve that job. All right, man, that's it for your boy, Jay Holley. We are on Thanksgiving week, so this will be the only show that happens this week. Love somebody. Hug somebody. Spend time with your family. And really understand that this time that you may have off, spend it wisely. Spend it wisely. Just because I'm getting to an age now where the people who raised me and the people who I was around coming up are fleeting fast. So for some of us, this may be the last time, and I hope not, but the reality is the reality. This may be the last Thanksgiving you hug your mom. So the last Thanksgiving you hug your dad, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, one of your favorite cousins. You just never know from week to week, month to month, year to year, what's going to happen to people. Hell, it might not happen to them. It may happen to you. This may be their last time hugging you, nephew, hugging you, niece, hugging you, little brother, little sister, son, daughter, little cuz. husband, wife, mom, dad. So love on your people, man. Love on your people. Cherish these moments. Have a good time. Laugh, cry, joke, but do it together. Because we do not know when we'll have an opportunity to do it again. And I don't want the next time that those people are around is either at your funeral or someone in that group's funeral. We all got to go sometime. Cherish the moments that we have together. And remember, you have to learn how to care about people without taking on all of their problems. That's from the great Felicia Rashad. That's from Claire Huxtable, our TV mom for a long time. You have to learn how to care about people without taking on all of their problems. Everybody's problems ain't your problems. All right, man, that's it for your boy, Jay Holley. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I love you. I care for you. Be kind to people. And remember, eliminate the contingencies. I'm out.